to put everything together and pick up the momentum. A fluke goal like that is what you need to get you going, and I would have to call that a fluke because it did go off defenseman Laidlaw's stick.
6 minutes remaining in the second period. Puck kicked loose. Northern Michigan comes away with it. The Wildcats, Waddell, tripped by one of his own men. Mielke drives it back into the Northern Michigan end. Steve Fisher around the boards. Bill Joyce there. Clears it to center ice. Bergloff on the far side. Driven right back in again by Jensen. Along the boards. Butsy Ericson, check from behind, goes down. And Mielke comes away with it for the Wildcats. Off the boards, it gets by Jensen. All the way back down into the Minnesota zone. They wave off an icing call. Bergloff with it. Away from a check by Mielke. Right out in front. Loose puck. Waddell there to hold it in. Joyce along the near boards. Checked. Mielke centering pass. Picked off by Bergloff. He's tied up by Joyce. Mielke cuts in to pick it up. He's got Waddell out in front. Couldn't get it to him. Joyce has it. For Waddell moving in. He fired a bullet and went into the side of the net with it. Comes to the far side. It got by Joyce. Joyce and Jensen go to the boards. Mielke cuts in. Ties it up. We'll have a face-off coming up. And Joyce and Jensen wrestling on the ice. See whether anything comes of that. We have 4:54 remaining here in the second period. And Northern Michigan still on top as they have been since the first 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the game, but their margin has been half. Now it is 2-1.
Billy Joyce just 5'8", and Dave Jensen 6'1", so Jensen certainly had the height advantage. Joyce just dropped to his knees and ducked his head.
Hung on.
Go right over me, you big Douglas fir.
Face-off will be to the left of Minnesota netminder Paul Butters. Craig Winter on the draw for Northern Michigan. Teal for Minnesota. And Minnesota controls as Meadows has it back of his own goal. Meadows check, carries on. Up for the left wing. Tipped in for Minnesota by Griffith. Griffith after it, out to Meadows, a drive. That's knocked down as it hit Tignanelli. He and Meadows jousting out near the blue line. Griffith then holds it in back of the goal. Here's Winter for the Wildcats of Northern Michigan. Checked out front by Langevin. Langevin trying to put it in front. And we will have a face-off coming up as Jeff Tascoff went down on top of the puck, and that brought a stoppage of play with 4:21 remaining in the second period.
Hard play by Jeff Tascoff. He went to the University of Michigan 2 years ago and transferred to Northern. Just becoming eligible. He's just a sophomore from Trenton, Michigan. Tied the puck up behind the net, took the pressure off, allowed Northern Michigan to make a line change.
Face off in the Northern Michigan end to Steve Weeks left. Bozek and Teal on the draw. Northern Michigan controls. Steve Fisher with it, back of his own goal. Slides it over for Tom Laidlaw. Now Fisher with the return pass. His pass off Teal skates. Fisher back of the net. 2-1. Northern Michigan leading Minnesota. 4:03 to go. Second period of play. Puck at center ice. Teal drives it back in again for Minnesota. Minnesota will change on the fly here. Fisher there to pick it up for Northern Michigan. He starts Bozek up the left wing. Bozek can fly. Got around a check by Knoke. Went down. I expected an arm to go up, but did not see it. Now here's Houck. Back for Minnesota. He has Broten with him. Drove it wide. Again. Houck off the loose puck. It's going to be scored. Minnesota has tied it up. Again, I believe it was Broten, but I'm not sure. No, it was not Broten. Hold on, we'll get his number for you. Again, Bill, I was just about to say that Houck had taken a shot when maybe he should have passed off. He had Broten wide open, but the puck came right back out in front, and I think Steve Griffith got the goal.
He did. Steve Griffith, just a freshman from Roseville, Minnesota. He was an all-stater at Hill Murray High School. His 8th goal of the season, and what a big one it is. It ties the game up at 2 apiece. Again, somewhat of a fluky goal. The puck took kind of a crazy bounce off the boards, and Steve Weeks had some trouble handling it. Right here, he loses it, tries to kick it out. Griffith right there, pokes it behind Weeks. We've got a tie hockey game.
Well, they give the goal to Butsy Ericson, and the assist to Knoke. Time the goal, 16:25. Ericson gets the goal from Knoke as the ruling. Hartzell carries in. Minnesota right back to the attack again. We are tied at 2 apiece. Delayed penalty coming up on Northern Michigan. Or it may be on Minnesota. We'll wait.
They had control of the puck.
Well, again, Minnesota had the puck when they blew the whistle, so we'll see. Looks like it might be Olson.
But I think we'll get a change on that goal. I'm sure it was Griffith that scored the goal, not Ericson, but we'll wait and see.
Sure looked like it. We'll wait for it and see. Well, elbowing the call on Olson. So Northern Michigan with a chance to regain the lead.
There it is, number 11. There he is right there. It was Griffith.
We're going to leave it the way we had it then. At any rate, at 16:50, Olson goes for elbowing, and Northern Michigan is on the power play, a chance to regain the lead. We are tied at 2 apiece.
Good opportunity for Northern Michigan to get the momentum back.
Waddell to Bozek. Bozek turned away. Right to Williger. Bozek with it. Drops it in the corner. They've got Joyce on the far side. Bozek still controls the puck. Now Joyce. Ikola this time manning the far corner. Joyce trying to jam it home, tied up by Houck. They go to the boards. Joyce comes away with the puck. Joyce with it. Put it in front. Home on the far side. They score! Bozek. Power play goal for Northern Michigan. It is 3-2. The Wildcats regain the lead.
Bozek with his second goal of the game, his 41st of the season. He was the most improved player on this team last year as a freshman, parked right along the side of the crease. I think the puck went in right there a little bit before it rolled. There it goes, and the referee signaled the goal. 3-2 Northern Michigan. Power play goal by Steve Bozek. Big goal for the Wildcats. Regains the momentum, regains the lead.
So Bozek from Joyce and Ikola. And Northern Michigan back in front. Boy, this crowd got quiet in a hurry. Minnesota had really been coming on, but the power play goal gives the Wildcats a lead back again. Mielke with it. Rink-wide pass to Laidlaw. Laidlaw moving in. The big defenseman trying to put it in front. Mielke there for the deflection, and it went right through the crease. Laidlaw in the near corner. Puts it back of the goal, and Butter's there to trap it up along his pads. Hangs on, a face-off coming up with 2:02 remaining in the period.
Well, there's no question that Minnesota had gained the momentum and held it most of the second period. They had battled back from a 2-0 deficit to tie the game at 2 apiece. Then the penalty to Ulster. Northern Michigan on the power play. They have a good power play, operating at 31%. They converted. Bozek getting the goal. They regain the lead, 3-2.
Puck in the Minnesota zone, and again Butters falls on top of it as Ikola was there looking for any type of a rebound. 1:59 remaining in the period. Well, Northern Michigan with a 2-0 lead. 13:33. Minnesota cut it to 2-1 on a goal by Broten, the power play goal. Minnesota tied it at 16:25 on a goal by Griffith. Bozek has just put Northern Michigan back in front with a power play goal at 17:26. It has been that kind of a game. Excellent hockey with both clubs. Puck in the far corner. Larson with it. Northern Michigan picking up the forechecking, bottling Minnesota up in their own zone. Broten. Meadows. They feed Harr up the left wing. Harr trying to go around Tascoff. Picked up by Olson. Olson checked into the boards by Tascoff. Broten has the puck. Broten back of the Northern Michigan goal. Gets away from a check. Now Verrigan takes the puck away from him. Verrigan heads back for the Wildcats. 1:15 remaining in the period. Here's Walt Pyle. A shot knocked down. Held in by Verrigan. Back at the goal, Ikola and Larson. Ikola hammers Larson into the boards, and now Meadows cuts in. Puts it out front. Broten tips. Held in by Verrigan. On the far side, Kyle with it. He's checked out front by Larson. 1 minute left in the period. Minnesota has the puck. Northern Michigan doing a great job of forechecking in the Minnesota zone right now. Harr muscles it out to center ice. Here's Broten back for Minnesota. Broten drives the shot. Oh! I believe that went in. The red light went on and ripped the webbing right out of the back of the goal. Aaron Broten scores for Minnesota. It is 3-3.
Oh boy, we'll get an argument on this one. The referees are still deciding. The net definitely moved, and they'll look to see if there's a hole in the net. I don't see any way the puck could have hit the back of the net from that angle. Northern Michigan will certainly argue. I think they've got to call it a goal.
I think they have allowed it.
It's not up on the board as yet. They almost have to find some kind of a break in the net, though. Let's get a chance to watch it again.
The net moved.
Definitely moved.
There's no doubt about it.
Broten really uncorks the shot, and he's right in the center of the ice.
I don't think they're going to allow it.
You can see the back of the net moving, and from that angle, the way it went by Steve Weeks, there's no way that puck could have moved the back of the net right there. I don't think they can find a hole, though.
But from our vantage point, at least, it looked like it had to go in. But the officials right now are arguing very vehemently with Don Micheletti, the Minnesota captain, and right now I don't think they're going to allow it. It appeared from here that it went in. The consensus up here appears to be that it did. Maybe we could see it again. Let's see. Here it is.
We've got a lot of people up here, and everybody agrees that the puck had to go in the net. Watch it again.
Here's Broten.
He's right in the center of the ice, right between the two defensemen.
It's not going to count. I can't believe it. The net definitely moved.
The only thing I can think of, Joe, is they cannot find a hole in the net.
I'm sure you're right.
And it's difficult to call that a goal if you can't find a break in the netting.
Well, the red light came on. The goal judge turned it on, but he was a little slow turning it on. It was really a bullet, no doubt about it.
Oh, boy, we'll have some heated debate about this one.
The back of the net definitely did move. But right now, it appears that Minnesota is not going to get a goal.
So the referees are doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
There's nothing they can do but look and try and find a hole. If they can't find a hole in the net, there's no way they can say that it went through the back of the net unless somebody, the magician out there, sewed the hole back up or something, which...
Well, there will be no goal, so the score remains 3-2 in favor of Northern Michigan. And you really could not tell from the replay whether it went in or not.
Well, it was a bullet. There's no question about that.
Really let it go.
Really let it go, but the net moved.
Could have been the back of Fisher's or Weeks' stick.
Well, he was way out of the net, though. He was at the top of the circle.
It appeared, that there was no way it did not go in, but as you point out, the officials had little choice but to do what they did. 30 seconds remaining in the period. You're right. There'll be a lot of discussion about that one, depending on how the game turns out. That'll be a real damper for Minnesota. They thought they had tied it up. A real lift for Northern Michigan. Put it out front. Fisher there to hold it in for the Wildcats. Laidlaw drives it further in. 15 seconds left in the period. Knoke with it. Check from behind. Almost lost it. Ponath after it. They get it back to Ponath, back of the goal. Battle for the puck, and Olson comes away with it. Drives it the length of the ice. Weeks there to handle that. The horn sounds. Well, you can hear what the crowd thinks. At any rate, that is the end of the second period with the score: Northern Michigan 3 and Minnesota 2. If you saw the close of the period, you understand what we're talking about. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go along here. At any rate, here's the scoring in the second period. The Wildcats had a 2-0 lead after one period of play. Aaron Broten brought Minnesota to within a goal at 13:33 of the period. A power play goal for Minnesota. Larson and Harr got the assists on the goal. Then Minnesota got the equalizer at 16:25. Griffith from Harr, and that made it 2-2. And we had a wild 3 minutes and 35 seconds of hockey to end the second period. Power play for Northern Michigan. Bozek, his second goal of the game, 41st of the year, 17:26 the time of the goal. Joyce and Ikola got the assist. That made it 3-2 in favor of the Wildcats. And then with 45 seconds remaining in the period, Aaron Broten fired a shot from just inside the blue line. It appeared that Minnesota had gotten the equalizer. The net did bulge. The red light went on, but the officials searched in vain, Bill, for a hole in the net. They said no goal, and so it is still 3-2, and it just depends on what happens the rest of this game, how big a factor that might be.
Well, you're right, Joan. As I mentioned, just at the close of the period, the officials did the right thing, the only thing that they can do. The red light did go on. The net definitely moved. And from the angle that Broten shot the puck, there's virtually no way that the net could move because the puck would have to hit it going behind the net, and again, from the angle, it could not. But in any case, the goal did not go up on the board. The important thing now for the University of Minnesota is for the kids not to lose their poise and not to sit in the dressing room between periods and worry about that. Certainly they'll talk about it. Certainly they're disappointed, and they have a right to be, but they can't pine over that for the whole time and forget about the rest of the hockey game. They're in the game. They only trail by a goal. They had the momentum, and they're playing very well. They could come right back and win this game.
I'm sure it's very difficult for Minnesota right now to, to sit there and say, okay, shake the goal off, but they're twice as well off as they were at the end of the first period. They were down by 2 goals in. They're down by just 1 now. You're in the Northern Michigan dressing room. Had to be a big lift for them when that goal was disallowed.
Well, it really did. They have to be thinking somebody's on their side or something.
I was going to say, over in that dressing room, they're saying, okay, now that's a biggie, right?
Well, there's no way that went in. That's what they're saying. I could see that plain as day. The puck missed the net. That's what Northern's saying. I don't know. There must be some Irish or something involved. We've got North Dakota and Dartmouth already going to the Final Four. Of course, all in green, and if Northern Michigan goes, we'll have 3 out of the 4. So maybe there's a leprechaun or something down there. I don't know.
Well, the shots in that period, Minnesota outshooting Northern Michigan 12-5. Minnesota has outshot the Wildcats now 21-18 for the game. Bill, we've talked a little bit about the fact that both these teams have played very, very well. I don't think really, especially in the second period, that we could ask either team to do anything more than what they did. They both played very, very well for 2 periods.
They have played well, and it's been a very cleanly played game. We've had, our share of penalties, I guess, in the hockey game, but really no cheap shots. Both teams are playing very hard. They're playing with a lot of intensity. Naturally, they both want to win very, very badly to get to that Final Four in Providence, and it's really an even hockey game. I think, if anything, Minnesota have had the breaks there. Both of their goals were a little bit on the flukish side, but of course had the big break turn against them on the goal, that apparent goal anyway, that was disallowed.
Well, there's an old saying, things have a way of evening up, and they appeared to at any rate. So at the end of 2 periods of play, Northern Michigan in the lead as they have been since virtually the outset of this game. Their margin now 1 goal at 3-2. And we'll have more hockey when we return to Williams Arena.
Game this season, and I'm going to be a fine hockey team. They're a well-disciplined hockey team, good-looking hockey team.
The West has dominated the NCAA championships. They've won, I believe. Perhaps we're a little bit surprised at Northern Michigan's strength and speed, but they played better in the second period, and had it not been for that penalty to Steve Ulseth, perhaps they could hold this 3-2 lead, because they certainly had the momentum going their way.
Well, neither team has come back out. The University of Minnesota coming out now. Minnesota in that second period outshooting Northern Michigan 12-5. Had a definite advantage there, as Northern Michigan did in the first period. So we still have 20 minutes of what we anticipate will be extremely exciting hockey going in this last period. And again, we hope that those of you along our ESPN cable lines are enjoying the game, and you folks up in the Marquette, Michigan way, along the airwaves of WLUC TV.
Pass along our congratulations also, Joe, to the University of Louisville and UCLA, who both winning today in NCAA basketball semifinal action. They will meet in the finals for the NCAA championship in basketball. What a job Mr. Brown has done at UCLA.
And again, Bill, we really didn't have the opportunity, because we didn't know it last weekend when we were out on the East Coast in the Boston, Massachusetts area, to congratulate the 2 teams from the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference who will represent their area in the NCAA Division I championship round in Providence, Rhode Island next weekend. Of course, our congratulations to Cornell and Dartmouth, the two Eastern representatives, and also to the University of North Dakota. Those three teams sitting back, having a weekend of relaxation, although I'm sure their coaches have not made it too enjoyable for them, have worked them very diligently. They await the winner of this game to make up the Final Four.
I would be a little bit surprised if Coach Dick Bertrand of Cornell is not in attendance here someplace this evening. They will, of course, play the winner of this game. And 2 weeks ago, as somebody mentioned Cornell being in the Final Four, they would have looked at you like you were a little bit nutty or something. But